Good morning. Welcome back to a special edition of Gary's Movie Emporium. Today is a Wild Eye review for the movie Reawakened, Evil Has Been Summoned. It's from 2020 from director Jose Altonaga and stars Steffani Brass from 6 Feet Under, Brooke MacKenzie from Everybody Hates Chris, Tina Cole from The Sixth Friend. Basically, what this is about is Michele, the main character's best friend, Sophia. How it starts out is, well, first of all, Michelle's laying in a bed. This has all happened. Like, it's going from the end to the back, back to the beginning and everything, because she's talking to a police detective, Henderson. Detective Henderson wanted to know what was going on, how all these people died, and Michele is reenacting what went on up at this cabin. Well, I don't know if it's a cabin; it was more like a cottage kind of house, but it was abandoned. And she's asked about what went on with all the death that went on there. And there, I noticed in the movie they said it was Beacon Falls, and they were on a 14-mile hike, and this is when they find this abandoned house, and there's no cell service up there of any kind. What happens is Sophia happens to go into one of the rooms, and she notices this like little I don't know, like almost looks like there's like some kind of protection going on in this place. And there's like a little bit of knickknacks. They look like they might be a part of the dark arts, like with evilness or whatever to ward it off. And she takes a medallion, and the minute she puts it on, she starts to feel a little funny, and then eventually, the longer the movie goes on, she becomes possessed. Like, she's possessed because apparently, I don't know if it was Abigail Baker's necklace or if it's just something that somebody had that was to ward off any evilness. But basically, she's possessed by the spirit of Abigail Baker, who was accused of witchery in Salem in 1692. It says, too, that Abigail Baker was born in 1670, so that would have made her 22 years old and being accused of witchcraft, which was very common in Salem at that time, to accuse someone even if they're not responsible for witchery. It makes it look like she's completely innocent, but she says in one part of the movie, "You're going to be sorry," and her eyes are possessed. So I'm taking it they were right about her. At least that's what I got. But she was tortured and executed, and her spirit wants to come back and get revenge on everybody because she just played out pissed, about the whole slew of events that went down leading to her death. And I take it that's why now Sophia or / Abigail, that's now in Sophia, wants revenge on everybody. She sees them as everyone that said she's a witch. So Sophia goes through the movie killing each member that went on this hike. And there's a point in the movie where after she wears the medallion, Sophia goes missing. And at some point they arrive at the Crossroads, which is, I guess, I don't know if it's like a middle of nowhere kind of thing on the trail out in Beacon Falls. They eventually find Sophia, and they grab her, and she's really cold, and they're like looking at her like there's something wrong with her, she's not herself. And she's fully possessed at that point because you can tell her skin's pale, her hair's really like oily looking, and she's not really with it too much. And then when they find her with this old book that looks kind of biblical, and it turns out the book is a book that can cast spells, and she's snatched onto it, and she won't let it go. But somehow they get the gold-paged, weathered-looking book from her. Very reminiscent of the Bible in a sense, but the opposite direction with what its intent was. You know, it wasn't for good, but it was for evil. And Sophia begins to, they find her when she runs off after they take the books, they find her a little bit later eating a wild animal. It looks like raw to me, like she had killed it and was eating it. It didn't make any sense to them why she'd be doing. You know, I don't think they realized the medallion and all that had possessed her, but and then after she gets this medallion, she starts to pick up these powers where she's able to use like black magic and stuff, and like teleport in a sense, because like there was a scene where she was being confronted by one of the friends, and she was here, and then she poofed over to here, and before you know it, she started using these electrical, which was pretty good at first, but then when she got the guy, like, it kind of looked kind of hokey a little bit, but it was a pretty fun little film. I mean, I thought the first 3/4 of it were flew by. I just felt like the last quarter of the movie kind of dragged a little bit. I just kind of thought the running time was fine. It was barely an hour and 30 minutes, but that last third act, if you will, had a hard time wanting to know what kind of movie it wanted to be. But I liked three-quarters of it because I like possession movies. My only problem too with it, not just that it kind of fell apart in the third act, my only main problem with it is I was hoping Sophia in this was not going to be the way she was, because I wanted it to be about possession, not like with her laying in the bed solely, but it was like she was a possessed slasher, and I didn't really like that part about it, because I thought it could have been better served with less of her in it, because I felt like they overkilled, like pretty near every scene she was stabbing something. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just felt like she has these powers. Why she keeps stabbing people? She could, say, make a tree fall on somebody or something, or do something, of that nature. The producing company for this was Altonaga Productions, which is director Jose Altonaga's, I guess that's his production company. This was from 2020, if I didn't say. It hinted at a sequel by the end as well, which I don't know if it will get one. But if I had to rate this one, I would, I don't know, maybe give it about a 6.5/7, somewhere around there. It's getting a really horrible rating on IMDb, a 2.3. And I seen someone else's review that gave it 3 out of 10. So I don't know what movie they were watching, but I think that's way too low. I mean, even for a B horror film, I don't think that's being overrightly fair. This, like I said, this was not a bad film. I mean, you could do much worse in the exorcism ripoff than that, the kind of exorcism type deal, theme. But, I mean, that's the kind of thing her eyes are pretty intimidating. But, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of hokey at times. But overall, like I said, I gave it almost probably about a 6.75, somewhere around, probably around a 6.75. I would give it about a thumb and a half up. I wouldn't give it the full two 2 thumbs up because it, like I said, it had those little issues. But I mean, I would love to see a sequel to it. Maybe a sequel could take the original ideas and maybe improve upon it. Maybe make it more about a home-based possessed girl. The performances in this were fine. The FX here and there was a little hokey, but I realize they're on a shoestring budget, and I don't take off for that because they do amazing. These directors of these cheaper movies do a great job making these realistic, based on their budgets. And that's all for my review for the movie Reawakened, and I would recommend it. And I'll see you in the next Wild Eye or another Dollar Tree video, depending. But take care, and like, share, and subscribe, and leave comments below. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.